I'm going to be sharing with you one of our viewers' stories that was submitted to us through our YouTube channel. My name is Tara Crawford. I'm a search angel here at DNAngels. Keith is a DNAngels client. And from watching our YouTube channel, he decided that he would like us to share his story. And that's what I'm going to be doing today in Keith's own words. Now you're going to want to stay tuned and listen to this because this is Keith's story about adoption and how he believed everything that he was told until one day he discovered a secret no one expected. His story contains lies, sealed records, and a missing father. Let's go ahead and drop some green hearts in the comments because we're going to be supporting Keith with his courage of being able to share his own story with all of you.
Thanks, Tara, for that introduction. Appreciate it. Anyway, what I wanted to do with this part two was kind of add a little bit of things, information about the adoption records. If one can obtain those, it's a good thing. You'll be probably shocked and amazed about what is in there. And again, this depends on what state, what kind of adoption, things like that. But in my case, I was adopted in the state of Virginia, and I obtained my records, almost 50 pages worth of information in there, single space, typed on a manual typewriter, margins literally almost to the edge of the page. So it was each page was full of information, and I had no idea that it was going to be that extensive, and certainly had no idea what was going to be in it. But I can definitely recommend get your adoption records if you can. But in my case, I'll tell you the bombshell that was in there to me that made a huge difference to me in my life. And it was information that I never knew. And but it really solved the dilemma that was in my mind for decades. And it was, I'll give you a slight background story just to explain what I was talking about. I grew up in a good family, and my dad was in the Navy for the first 10 years of my life. And he was a senior chief, which is the second highest you could go in the Navy. And he had a lot of respect on the Navy, and I saw that as a little kid. Later on, when I grew up, graduated high school, in my mind, I thought this will be really great, a good career path and everything, if I could follow my dad's footsteps and join the Navy. And the more I thought about it, I thought it would just be cool, and it would obviously be a great career move as well. So that's what I did. And of course, when I came back from basic training, she pulled up in front of the house and got out of the car. And my dad and the whole neighborhood was there to greet me. And I gave my dad a big salute, and he saluted me back. And I don't know who got the biggest kick out of it, him or me. But it was really cool. I just felt in my mind that was cool. I'm doing what you think all dads want their little sons to do is to follow in their footsteps, be just like them. And that's what I thought. But Daddy never said that. He never said anything at all like that to me. But that's what I thought. So I went in the Navy, and from the beginning, boot camp was not at all what I expected, and my Navy career was not what I expected at all either, because I had seen it from the eyes of when I was a little kid of my dad, who was a high-ranking enlisted person, and he had it made basically, and but I didn't see what he had to go through when he was just a low-life beginning sailor. They had to do all the work. They had to do all the hard work, mopping the floors. They call it swabbing the decks, things like that. So I had to do all that stuff, and it was not what I signed up for. It was not expected. So, I did not stay in there like I had planned to do for 20 years and retire and take all the benefits of retirement. I got out after the first term. Driving home after I was honorably discharged from the Navy, and honestly, it was the lowest point in my life because I had no idea what I was going to do, and I was just low. I really felt like that I had let my dad down, even though he actually helped me to make the decision to get out. and he never once said anything about being disappointed, neither him nor my mom. But still, in my own mind, I just felt like that oh yeah, he's got to be upset or disappointed, but it honestly was not, and I found that out later. But anyways, I came home not having a clue as to what I was going to do, because this was all sudden. My getting out, and I had no clue what to do. So through a conversation with a neighbor next door, she told me to go to this college that they had a lot of veterans there, and they were actually paid to go there. And as it turned out, that was actually true. That through the GI Bill, that veterans could go there, and excuse me, they would. VA would send a check to the school, and once a month you go there, and the school would have you endorse your check from the VA, and then they would issue a check from the school to cover the differences in your tuition. And so basically, what that meant was once a month you go to the bookstore and you got a check, and all your tuition was paid, and you got several $100s a month, which was really a cool thing. So I was working part-time and going to school, so I also had this check from the government, so I was doing pretty well. Anyway, I kind of liked, and I'm trying to make this short, but I liked what I saw when I was teaching there. When I was a student there at this school. I saw how the instructors had it and everything, and I said, this is a pretty good gig. And I said, let me see what I can do to get qualified to come back here. So I talked to the dean of faculty, and he told me what I needed to do, and so that was motivating, because I just enjoyed my time at that college to no end. I mean, it was just really great, completely changed my life. So I said, I'm going to go to this college, so I'm going to do what I can do. So I graduated there, transferred to a 4-year school. That was a 2-year school. And then got my degree there, went on to graduate school, and graduated college. Sure enough, that dean of faculty at that first college, he had a job waiting for me, and I did. I went there, excuse me, became a college professor. And after that, I had other jobs. So I did well after I got out of the Navy, despite my not having a clue initially. But I ended up doing pretty well. I had went to college and have had several good jobs over the years. And but still, in my mind, even though I did well, got educated, did well, I still wondered in my mind, wow, should I have gotten in the Navy, out of the Navy? Should I have stayed in there? What would I be doing now? I could have had retirement pay and all this kind of stuff, And so, again, it was in my own mind. But I had this debate, and literally decades. Every once in a while I would think, golly, I did good, going to college and having good jobs, but still, I just wonder what would happen if I had stayed in. So, anyway, that's the background story. So then now we fast forward, I get my adoption records, and I'm reading through these adoption records, which, like I said, were fascinating. Each page was I couldn't put it down. I couldn't wait to see what was on the next page, because what I had just read on this page was so mind-blowing that I was like, my gosh, there's a lot of pages left. What more can be in here? So it was absolutely fascinating to read. And those people with social services, and again, this was the state of Virginia, they documented in incredible detail every time they did an investigation on anybody, blah, 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 the date, the time, who they talked to, and everything they said. It was all documented in these reports. One of the people they had talked to, when they interviewed my parents, adoptive parents, but to me they're my parents, when they had initially came in to the social service and said, hey, we're interested in adopting a baby. You have to fill out a lot of paperwork. And of course, the social services says, well, okay, we have to investigate your background first, and then we'll get back to you how things go. So when they do that, they go out and they literally talk to everybody, all your neighbors, all your friends, all your employers, customers, if they can do it, people at your church, just everything. and everybody. And but they even talked to my dad. So they would talk to his commanding officer at the Navy base, and they talked to his doctor on the base. And I mean, I was like, wow, they talked to everybody. It's all in the report, these adoption reports. Incredible detail. But one of the questions in there, they actually interviewed my mom and my dad, and they asked them, why do you want to adopt, and what would you want for your baby if we're able to get you a baby to adopt? And my dad, he said very simply, he didn't say I would like for him to follow in my footsteps. He didn't say anything like that or anything crazy like I hope he becomes president of the United States or something like crazy like that. He said simply, I want my child to get a good education. Well, when I saw that in that report, I was blown away. All those decades that I've wondered in my own mind as to whether I made the right decision to get out of the Navy, even though, again, I did well. I went to college and had good jobs. I mean, I was a college professor, for goodness sakes, Later on, I was a vice president of information technology with a chain of nursing homes and retirement residences. So, I mean, I did well. But I still, in my mind, wondered if I made the right decision or not. And all of that was laid to rest by those simply few words that my dad said, where he said that he was asked, what would I want for a child if I was able to get a child? And he said, I want my child to get a good education. I said, wow. So you know what? Even though way back when I had thought that my daddy wants me to follow in his footsteps, and that's what I was doing and everything, and I was so proud that I was following in his footsteps. And even though that's what I thought I was doing, what he wanted, as it turns out, that wasn't what he wanted at all. He just wanted me to get a good education. And so that right there made all that time, all that trouble, getting forms, doing research and everything, trying to get my adoption records, it made it all worthwhile right there. When just those few little words, And so the bottom line is, I do recommend, if you can do it, get your adoption records, the unredacted records. And as part of that, in the state of Virginia, at least, they will send you a letter from the head of social services. Well, that he will send to Department of Vital Records, the head of Vital Records, ordering them to give you your original birth certificate if you want to request it, which of course, who wouldn't, right? So he sent me 2 copies, original copies that he had signed himself, and one for myself, obviously, and one to actually send in if I wanted to apply for my original birth certificate, which of course I did. Highly recommend that, because you see on TV when people who have babies, I wonder who signed the birth, or didn't the father sign the birth certificate or whatever. Well, if you ever think as you grow up, when you request a birth certificate, they send you this birth certificate, which basically is just a certificate of live birth, and it shows your parents' names, and this is your adopted parents and your name and where you were born. That's it. Well, whereas an original birth certificate, that's the one that the doctor actually signs in the delivery room. When you're delivered, he writes on there your weight, writes on there the time of the birth, and the name of the birth mother and birth father, if it's on there. In my case, the birth father was not on there. But that goes back to part 1 of this. Anyway, but all that information is on there. And I'm telling you, there's more information that you wouldn't believe. And so I highly recommend, if you can get an original birth certificate, do so. Okay, that's it. I wanted to keep this fairly short. So thank you again to Tara for the introduction and for narrating the part 1 of Frank. That was the birth name that was on my original birth certificate, which I wasn't really totally sure if that was correct or not. I thought I had been told that. But until I got that original birth certificate, I wasn't sure, but that was on there. Thank you. Appreciate it.